catastrophic withdrawal is, of course, likely to tarnish the Biden administration, at least as far as foreign relations go. What lessons do you think that America's adversaries will draw from this withdrawal?
I think, first of all, world powers will be asking themselves the basic question: how could the US miscalculate so badly in a country where they've had a presence for 20 years? I mean, after all, this is Afghanistan. It's not Libya, where there was a relatively short intervention. This was 20 years. How could America get this so incredibly wrong? Let's take a listen to President Biden speaking at the beginning of July.
There's going to be the Taliban overrunning everything and owning the whole country is highly unlikely.
So, just a few weeks ago saying there was no chance of what has just happening. But why, let's just remind ourselves, why did Biden want to wrap up this involvement in Afghanistan? It was so that he could focus on China. China was identified by this administration as the focus, the point of strategic competition in the years to come. How will this disaster go down in Beijing, I think, is a key question. What message could it be sending to Beijing? Well, one message is that the US is so war-weary that it probably, or it could very well not put up a fight in the South China Sea if it comes to something nasty, or in a confrontation over Taiwan. And I think this disaster also plays into the Chinese narrative that US allies in the region, in Asia, cannot and should not rely on American security guarantees. So this is, in a way, grist to the mill of this whole Chinese narrative, which says to other countries in the region, look, you should really come to an accommodation directly with us instead of trying to go through Washington. And now they have an extra reason to say that, which is to say, look, the Afghans thought they were safe. They thought that they had that the US had their backs, and they got abandoned by the US. So why don't you do a deal with us, Beijing, rather than rely on the United States?
And other actors, Armen, have a role to play in the way that things have developed in Afghanistan. What are some of the other factors that played into the Taliban's swift retaking of the country?
Yeah, because I think it's still an interesting question. So many people are scratching their heads. How could this be possible after 20 years of foreign involvement? I mean, on the military side, there was obviously a failure to transfer technical knowledge. That was a key element. For example, all the maintenance for the Afghan Air Force that could have actually blocked the Taliban, that maintenance was done by US contractors. So at some point there was a failure to transfer that knowledge, and the local Afghan personnel could not act independently once the US contractors were pulled out. So that's just one example of that failure of a transfer of technical knowledge and know-how. But the broader failure, Erin, is still obviously political. There was a failure, the major failure was to create a sense of loyalty around an Afghan national project and national identity. And a lot of players can be faulted for that, including successive Afghan governments. But certainly the only thing that could have perhaps prevented this alternative national project that the Taliban are proposing, which is going to be disastrous for so many people, as we've seen in the wave of refugees already. The only thing that could have prevented that would have been a sense of people rallying around a national project allied to a viable and credible central government and a credible national army. That was what was missing, and that's what allowed the Taliban to just sweep through basically without a fight.
In just a few days, essentially, yeah. Armen. Thank you so much. We'll keep it there for now, but thank you for that update.